While most kids were still figuring out high school or their favorite hobbies, Summer McIntosh was doing something entirely different. She was breaking world records. Yep, you got that right. Born into a family that already had deep roots in sports, Summer's journey from a bubbly little girl in Canada to becoming one of the greatest young swimmers in the world is nothing short of inspiring. Let's take a look at her story, shall we? Summer McIntosh was born on August 18, 2006 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. She grew up in a family that was very familiar with sports, especially swimming. Her mother, Jill Horsted, was a competitive swimmer herself and represented Canada at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, so it's fair to say that swimming was already a part of Summer's world from a young age, as early as when she was just around 2 years old in fact. By the time she was 6, she was already training with a club called Etobicoke Swim Club in Toronto. It didn't take long for her coaches and others around her to notice that she had a strong work ethic and a calm, focused mindset, especially for someone so young. But again, this wasn't the kind of overnight genius story people often like to tell. She practiced consistently, improved steadily, and worked hard without making a lot of noise about it. She attended Silverthorne Collegiate Institute, a public high school in Toronto, and continued to balance school and training. Her family was supportive, and they played a big role in helping her stay grounded. She wasn't homeschooled or placed in a special sports academy, at least not in the beginning. And like many kids her age, she had to juggle school life with swim meets and practice. What helped her early on was a combination of a solid foundation at home, consistent training, and good mentorship. Her older sister, Brooke McIntosh, also competed in sports, figure skating, in fact, so Summer grew up in an environment where competition, dedication, and discipline was the upbringing. She first started getting national attention around the age of 12. Not because of some dramatic breakout, but simply because her times in the pool were consistently improving. By the time she was 14, she had already started breaking age group records in Canada, quietly building a name for herself. This was the beginning of her journey. After showing promise in her early years, Summer McIntosh's swimming career truly began to take off in 2021. At just 14 years old, she qualified for the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics, which had been postponed to 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Earning a place on Canada's Olympic team at that age was already remarkable, but it wasn't based on hype or media buzz. It was based on performance. She had steadily improved her times in domestic competitions and earned her spot through the regular qualifying process. At the Canadian Olympic trials earlier that year, she beat some of the country's top swimmers, including Olympic gold medalist Penny Oleksiak in the 200-meter freestyle. This result confirmed that she wasn't just a promising swimmer, she was ready for the world stage. At the Tokyo Olympics, Summer competed in 4 events: the 200 meters and 400 meters freestyle, the 800 meters freestyle, and the 4x200 meters freestyle relay. Her most impressive performance came in the 400-meter freestyle, where she finished 4th, just shy of a medal. That swim made her the youngest Canadian swimmer to ever place that high in an Olympic final. In the 200 meters freestyle, she finished 9th overall, nearly missing the final. She also competed solidly in the 800 meters freestyle and helped Canada to a 4th place finish in the 4x200 meters freestyle relay. Although she didn't win any medals in Tokyo, her results were enough to catch the attention of the global swimming community. Unlike many young athletes who show early talent but struggle on the big stage, Summer proved she could stay composed under pressure and deliver strong performances against the best swimmers in the world. Following the Olympics, she continued to train and compete at a high level, setting her sights on the next major international events. In 2022, Summer's progress was even more noticeable. She competed at the FINA World Championships in Budapest, where she swam with the confidence and efficiency of someone far older than 15. That year, she won gold medals in the 200 meters butterfly and the 400 meters individual medley, along with a silver in the 400 meters freestyle and a bronze as part of Canada's 4x200 meters freestyle relay team. Her performance in the 400 meters individual medley stood out in particular, as she broke the world junior record with a time that also ranked among the fastest in history. Importantly, she didn't win because of some lucky swim. Her pacing, technique, and race strategy were all carefully refined through training. Later that summer, she also competed at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, where she collected more medals and established herself as a versatile and consistent performer. She won 3 golds in the 200 meters, 400 meters, and 200 meters butterfly, and a bronze in the 400 meters freestyle. These results confirm that she was not a one-event swimmer. She had range across strokes and distances, and her endurance and technique were improving with every season. It was during this year that many began to recognize her not just as a promising talent, but as one of the world's best swimmers. Regardless of age, the 2023 season marked another major turning point. At the Canadian trials in April, Summer McIntosh broke 2 world records within just a few days. First, she set a new world record in the 400 meters freestyle, surpassing a time previously held by Australia's Ariarne Titmus. Then, she broke the world record in the 400 meters individual medley, improving on a record that had stood for several years. Both swims were clean, efficient, and clearly the result of long-term focused preparation. These were not flashes of brilliance, they were the outcome of consistency and discipline. At the World Aquatics Championships later that year in Fukuoka, Japan, she continued to show why she was now a dominant figure in women's swimming. She won gold in the 200 meters butterfly and the 400 meters individual medley, along with a bronze in the 200 meters freestyle. However, not everything went perfectly. She finished 4th in the 400 meters freestyle after a race that didn't quite go to plan. Afterward, she was open about not feeling at her best that day, but she didn't dwell on it. Instead, she took it as a learning experience, which once again showed her maturity. She understood that setbacks are part of an athlete's journey, and she remained focused on long-term growth rather than short-term perfection. Heading into 2024, Summer had already achieved more than many swimmers do in a full career, but she stayed grounded. Her focus was on the Paris Olympics, where she hoped to translate her world-level success into Olympic medals. At the Canadian Olympic trials that year, she once again qualified for all her key events: the 400 meters freestyle, 400 meters individual medley, 200 meters butterfly, and 200 meters freestyle. Unlike Tokyo, where she was relatively unknown on the international stage, in Paris, she arrived as one of the favorites. Coupled with the added pressure, she handled it with the same level-headedness she had shown before. At the Paris Olympics, Summer finally won her first Olympic gold medal in the 400 meters individual medley, delivering a strong and well-paced swim. She also claimed a silver in the 200 meters butterfly and a bronze in the 200 meters freestyle. In the 400 meters freestyle, she once again came close but finished 4th. Even so, the 2024 Olympics were a major success for her. At 17, she left the Games with 3 medals and had proven herself to be one of the most consistent swimmers in the world. What stood out even more than the medals was how she carried herself. She didn't chase headlines or make bold claims. In interviews, she talked about the importance of rest, recovery, and continuing to enjoy the process of training and racing. By 2025, Summer McIntosh was 18 years old and firmly established as a leader in Canadian swimming. She was no longer the young upstart, but rather she was now the swimmer that others looked up to. Early in the 2025 season, she maintained her dominance in the 400 meters individual medley and continued to improve her times in the 200 meters freestyle and butterfly. At the World Championships in Singapore that year, she once again showed her consistency and competitive strength, winning gold in both the 400 meters individual medley and 200 meters butterfly, a silver in the 200 meters freestyle, and a bronze in the 400 meters freestyle. These performances were not accompanied by any drama or spectacle. They reflected the same qualities that had defined her journey all along: discipline, humility, and a quiet determination to keep improving. Beyond the pool, Summer also began taking on more responsibility as a public figure in Canadian sport. She supported youth swimming programs, shared her experiences with younger athletes, and used her platform to promote healthy habits and dedication. While she remained focused on training and competition, she also began to understand her role as a mentor and representative of the sport. If you enjoyed watching this video, please show support by leaving a like, share, and also subscribe to the channel. Well, until next time, thank you for watching.